Strange signals appeared across the sky. Space stations around Earth picked them up, first faint echoes of huge alien ships moving closer. At first, no one was too worried. Aliens had been visiting Earth for years now. They came for trade, research, and sometimes just to pass through. The galaxy was open. Earth had become a busy stop along the way. But now things were different. Satellites started going offline. Space traffic grew thicker by the day. Ships flew too close to the moon, and some hovered right above Earth's orbit. One alien freighter nearly crashed into a human science station. It missed by only a few hundred meters. People on Earth could see strange lights in the sky at night flashes, pulses, and strange shadows moving silently above. In a control room deep underground, Commander Leah watched it all unfold on a giant screen. She rubbed her temples and sighed. "We warned them to keep distance," she said. They didn't listen. Leah was a respected officer in Earth's United Space Defense. She was known for being calm, clever, and brave. She had trained for war, but what she saw now wasn't war. It was disrespect. "We're being treated like a shortcut," she said to her team. "They don't see us as equals. We're just a hallway to them." A meeting was called in New Geneva, the United Nations Space Command Center. Leaders from different nations, scientists, and military officials all sat around a long oval table. Holograms of alien ships floated above the center, showing their movement paths. "They're using our orbit like a space highway," a European delegate said. "We can't allow this. We've sent warnings. We've asked the Galactic Council to help," a Japanese general added. "But nothing changes. They laugh behind our backs," Leah said. "They think we won't act. Maybe it's time we prove them wrong." The room went quiet then. A scientist from Brazil leaned forward. "What are you suggesting?" Leah stood. "We declare Earth a no-fly zone. No ship enters without our permission." Many looked shocked. "That's impossible," someone said. "We're not powerful enough." Leah looked directly at the screen. "We don't need to be the strongest. We need to be serious." After hours of debate, the motion passed. Earth would send a signal to the entire galaxy. A firm, direct message. No ships may pass through human space without approval. Violators will be stopped. Within hours, the message was sent. It echoed across the stars in over 40 languages. Earth's warning was clear and combat firm. Alien responses came quickly. Some laughed. Some ignored it. Some sent back messages of confusion or curiosity, but most just kept flying through. And then, a large ship from the Thalexi Empire cargo. Ship twice the size of a football field, Earth's space without permission. It passed the moon and headed for Jupiter. Commander Leah watched from the defense hub. "Do we have a lock?" "Yes, ma'am," her officer replied. "Targeting. Systems are live? Ready for intercept?" Leah gave the order. "Fire a warning shot. No damage, just stop it." A single pulse beam shot from Earth's orbital platform. It hit the ship's rear engine, not to destroy, just to shut it down. The Thalexi freighter spun slowly and came to a halt. Caught in orbit, the galaxy noticed. For the first time, aliens saw that humans were not just talking. They were acting. News spread fast on alien networks. Psst. Earth disables ship in one shot. Humans declare no-fly zone. Enforce it. Small world, big message. Some leaders in the Galactic Council were angry. Others were amused. Alien ambassador even said, "Humans have courage." Maybe too much, but back on Earth, Leah wasn't celebrating. She knew this was just the beginning. "They'll test us again," she said to her team. "Next time, it won't be a freighter. It'll be a warship." Her officers nodded. "Then we'll be ready." Earth had a secret. Hidden in space were defense satellites powered by the most advanced AI humans had built. They had never been used before, but now they were active. The system was called Project Sentinelland. It was watching. Leah looked out the wide window of the command center, where the stars shined far away. "They think we're just a young race," she whispered. "But they forgot we protect our home." The galaxy didn't take Earth's warning seriously. Not yet. Many alien species thought humans were just acting tough. A few even said Earth was making a fool of itself. They believed the no-fly zone was a joke, a small planet pretending to be important. But then came the second incident. A patrol ship from the Kyric Dominion entered Earth's orbit without asking. It wasn't a huge ship, but it had weapons. The Kyric said it was just doing a routine scan and meant no harm. It claimed they didn't hear the warning. But the message had been repeated non-stop across all star lanes. Commander Leah stood in front of her main screen, watching the Kyric ship glide past Mars. They heard it, she said. They just chose to ignore it. "What are your orders?" asked her second-in-command. A calm officer named Danny Leah took a breath. "Scramble a Sentinel drone. No destruction. Just disable their sensors and engines." Later, one of Earth's secret defense satellites moved into action. It was invisible to most scanners, hidden in low orbit around Jupiter. The drone flew silently, too fast for the Kyric ship to notice. Then, with one pulse, it hit the ship's side. The lights on the Kyric vessel flickered, and its engines died, drifted quietly in space, powerless but safe. Within minutes, the Kyric called for help. They weren't angry. They were scared. "This was not expected," their captain said over open channel. "How did humans do this?" The video feed of the disabled ship was shared across the galaxy. Alien media called it a surprise. Some praised the humans for their skill. Others said it was just luck. But many began to wonder, what else was Earth hiding? 3 alien governments sent requests for passage. They asked politely. They waited for approval. They followed the new rules. For the first time, space traffic near Earth began to slow down. But not everyone was ready to follow. A group of wealthy alien merchants from the Tauran Alliance believed humans were bluffing. They sent 3 large ships through human space to test the defenses. They even laughed in their messages, calling the no-fly zone a cute little wall. The ships were big, slow, and full of goods. They didn't carry weapons, but their presence was loud and disrespectful. They passed near the moon and headed straight toward Saturn. Leah didn't hesitate. She activated 3 sentinels. This time, she gave a new order. Make them stop. Completely. Each drone locked onto a Tauran ship. Pulse beams hit their engines at the same time. Gravity snares held the ships in place. Warning lights filled the alien ships as systems shut down one by one. The Tauran crews sent panic messages, asking what was happening. They had never seen this kind of control. Leah sent one message in return. "This is not a joke. This is our sky." The message was short, but it worked. The Tauran Alliance quickly apologized. They paid for damages to human satellites. They also promised not to enter human space again without permission. The galaxy was watching more closely. Now in the central chamber of the Galactic Council, leaders from over 40 species gathered to discuss the situation. A tall alien with silver skin stood up. "Earth is trying to control star lanes," he said. "This must be stopped." A short ambassador from the Fraxian Union replied, "No, they are protecting their world. They have every right to do so." Others argued back and forth. Some called humans dangerous. Others called them brave. But one fact could not be denied. Humans had made their point. Back on Earth, Leah received hundreds of messages. Some were threats. Some were questions. A few were offers alien groups asking to buy Earth's defense system. She ignored them all. Her focus was clear. Protect the planet. One evening, she stood on a platform looking at the stars. Danny joined her and handed her a data tablet. "More ships requesting access," he said. Leah smiled slightly. "Let them wait." Danny looked up at the sky. "Do you think this will last? The fear, the respect?" Leah nodded. "If we keep our word and stay firm, yes. We don't need to rule the stars. We just need to guard our home." In the distance, the stars blinked gently. And now, none of them dared move closer without permission. The space around Earth had changed. It was no longer open to all. It belonged to humans, and everyone was starting to understand that. In the outer systems, the silence around Earth was becoming louder than any battle. For the first time in decades, no unapproved ship dared enter the solar system. Some called it peace. Others called it fear. Whatever it was, it worked, but not. Everyone was pleased. In a quiet meeting on the edge of the Triva sector, 3 alien captains sat around a glowing table. They were from different factions, but they shared the same thought: humans were overstepping. They believed the no-fly zone was a challenge, and they didn't like being told where they could go. They're just death-worlders pretending to. "Be a power," growled Captain Euros from the Craven fleet. "They've embarrassed us all," hissed Captain Salek from the Dreadwing path. "They stopped our ships without firing a single deadly shot." Captain Tolric, calm and sharped, spoke last. "Then let us give them a reason to fire one." The plan was simple. Each captain would send a scout ship into human space, one after another, not to attack but to push, to see how far humans were willing to go. If Earth really wanted to stop them, they'd need to reveal their full defenses. And that's what the captains wanted. On Earth, Commander Leah was monitoring everything. Since the last incident with the Tauran ships, she had increased the reach of Project Sentinel. More drones, more stealth, more eyes in the sky. The defense network now covered from Mercury to Neptune, with backup units near Pluto. When the first Craven scout entered orbit near Mars, it didn't speak, simply drifted, watching, scanning, pretending to be curious. Leah waited just 5 minutes before acting. "Disable its sensor array," she said. A Sentinel drone responded instantly. The scout ship blinked out on the screen, its cameras fried, its radar gone. The ship floated helpless, blind in the dark. The second scout from the Dreadwing path came in faster. It shot toward the moon at high speed, hoping to pass through. Before humans could react, it didn't make it. 3 small drones met it midway. They didn't fire weapons, they used magnetic fields to stop the ship in place. The Dreadwing captain screamed in anger through an open channel. "You're cowards hiding behind machines," Leah answered calmly. "We don't need to shout, we just need to stop you." Then came the third, the most advanced scout, sent by Captain Tolric himself, entered from deep space. It was cloaked, using dark matter tech stolen from older empires. It believed it was invisible. But Earth's defense, the system had been upgraded. Project Sentinel didn't just use light and heat to track. It used gravity waves, quantum tremors, and the smallest shifts in solar wind. The cloaked ship was found, locked, and stopped before it reached Saturn. No fire, no noise, just silence and failure. Across the galaxy, alien news outlets exploded. With questions: how did humans stop 3 scouts without showing their fleet? What is Project Sentinel? Why is no one responding to Earth's strength? Even the Galactic Council, usually slow and neutral, called an emergency session. Ambassadors from dozens of species filled the Great Hall. The room buzzed with concern. Ambassador Thulik of the Argon sector stood up. "Earth is blocking freedom of movement," he said. "This could start a galactic conflict." But Ambassador Jura of the Mevral Alliance replied, "Earth has not fired a single deadly weapon. They disabled only. They warned. They followed their rules." Back on Earth, Leah sat in her chair, listening to the council session from a private stream. Danny entered the room with a message. 3 more access requests, he said. This time from empires who used to ignore us. Leah nodded. Grant 2. Deny 1. Let's see if they respect the answer. As the room cleared, Leah stayed behind. She looked up at the ceiling where a map of the solar system glowed softly. Red dots showed patrols. Green dots marked ships. Waiting for approval? Are we going too far? Danny asked. No, she said. They pushed us for years. Now we're just standing firm. At that moment, a new alert blinked on the screen. It was a live feed from Pluto's orbit. One of the scouts had restarted its engine eagerly. It was trying to leave without permission, hoping to sneak out quietly. Should we stop it? Danny asked. Leah shook her head. No, let it go. They'll return with stories. And the stories will do more than weapons ever could. And she was right. That scout's crew returned home terrified. They spoke of drones that moved without sound, of power they couldn't see or understand. Their leaders listened closely. From that day forward, even the boldest captains thought twice before crossing the invisible line drawn around Earth. Far away in the Grunax system, a group of powerful alien factions held a private meeting. They had watched the events around Earth and felt embarrassed. Humans had made them look weak. Their ships had been stopped without damage, without warning, shots, and without a single human warship showing up. "We must respond," said Commander Raltor of the Zetheri fleet. "If we let Earth continue like this, other small worlds will follow." General Shinnok of the Merkai Empire nodded. "We strike now, not to destroy them, but to remind them of their place." 6 warships were chosen fast, armored, and equipped. With the latest tech, they would approach Earth together from different directions. The plan was simple. Fly in, scan the system, and leave. If Earth responded, they would record everything. If Earth didn't, they would call the no-fly zone fake. The fleet launched quietly on Earth. Commander Leah had already seen them coming. "We've got multiple bogies inbound," Danny said, watching the screen. "Different angles, tight formations. They're not here to trade." Leah didn't panic. "Activate full sentinel grid," she said. The system responded at once. Cloaked satellites lit up, tracking each ship. Drones moved into position without being seen. They didn't rush. Didn't fire. They waited. As the alien warships crossed into the solar system, everything seemed quiet. No alarms, no weapons. The ships began scanning planets, recording data, and broadcasting small probes. That's when it happened. The first ship, moving near Jupiter, lost all engine control. Its power system shut down. Its weapons froze. The crew tried to restart the ship, but nothing worked. The second ship, near Mars, was surrounded by 5 Sentinel drones. They moved in circles, creating a field of static. The ship's sensors went blind. Messages from the bridge turned into static. The ship drifted silently. The third ship was hit with a pulse that disabled its artificial gravity. The crew floated helplessly, while systems flickered off one by one. The fourth ship turned to retreat, but it was caught in a magnetic trap. It stopped mid-flight, pulled into a slow spin. The fifth and sixth ships tried to rush through, but their paths were blocked by a swarm of drones. They weren't attacked, they weren't harmed, but they couldn't move forward. Commander Raltor watched from his ship in disbelief. "We underestimated them," he said, voice shaking. "This isn't just defense, this is mastery." Leah appeared on their comm screens. She didn't smile. She didn't raise her voice. "You were warned," she said simply. "Earth is not open for games. Leave no or stay and be humbled." The alien commanders looked at each other. They weren't ready for a fight they couldn't see. Slowly, one by one, the ships pulled back. Earth didn't fire a single shot. And still, the fleet left in silence. The galaxy reacted instantly. News feeds ran headlines like "Human defense stops, elite warships, Earth wins without violence." Some doubted the story. Others believed every word. The footage shared by the warship crews left little doubt. In the Galactic Council, silence filled the chamber. Ambassador Selker, once a loud critic of Earth, stood and said, "We must recognize what humans have done. They've claimed their space and defended it without cruelty." Many nodded, some clapped. Others simply remained quiet. Back on Earth, the defense hub was calm. Leah walked through the control room, checking on her team. The atmosphere was focused, but not tense. Danny approached with a datapad. Messages from 5 new alien governments. They want peaceful agreements. Some are asking for trade routes. Leah took the pad. "Good. We welcome trade, but they'll wait in line like everyone else." As night fell, Leah stepped outside the base and looked at the stars. She thought about everything that had happened, the ships, the warnings, the threats. But also, the peace Earth hadn't started this. They had only drawn a line, quiet, firm line, and the stars had finally noticed. Weeks passed, and something strange began to happen in the galaxy. Nothing. No surprise ships entered Earth's space. No empires challenged the no-fly zone. Skies around Earth grew quiet, calm, and clear. It was the first time in over 100 years that the planet had peace in orbit. Commander Leah sat inside the defense hub, watching the solar map. Each planet glowed gently, free of threat. The Sentinel grid was still active, still watching, but it hadn't been used in days. Danny stepped into the room with a calm smile. 2 more empires have accepted our flight rule policy, he said. They sent thank you messages. Good, Leah replied. The merchant fleets? All traffic is moving through safe paths now. No ship enters without our approval. They're even sending gifts to show respect. Leah nodded. We didn't ask for gifts. We asked for boundaries. Danny laughed softly. I think they'd finally get it. On the other side of the galaxy. Things were changing too. At the Galactic Council's next gathering, Earth was no longer seen as the weakest voice in the room. Instead, other small planets started speaking up. They asked for their own no-fly zones, for their own right to control the space around their homes. An old ambassador from a distant desert world said, if Earth can draw a line and defend it, so can we. Respect was spreading not just for Earth, but for the idea that smaller worlds didn't have to stay silent anymore. Leah was later invited to join the High Council of Space Defense. It was the most powerful group in the galaxy, made up of leaders. From the oldest and strongest empires, they wanted her to take a seat at the round table. She politely refused. We're not here to rule the stars, she told them. We're here to make sure no one takes Earth for granted again. Back home, things returned to normal. People went to work. Kids looked up at the sky again, seeing stars instead of alien ships. Cities no longer worried about falling debris or unexpected energy waves from alien drives. Life was peaceful. Still, Leah knew the quiet wouldn't last forever. Someday, another challenge would come. Another empire, another ship, another test. But Earth would be ready. She stood on the roof of the command building one evening, watching a transport shuttle rise into orbit. Beside her, Danny looked at the stars. Do you think we'll ever join the big empires? He asked. Leah smiled. We already did, just not in the way they expected. Earth hadn't become powerful by building the biggest ships or the loudest weapons. It had become powerful by saying one word -no. No to disrespect. No to being ignored. No to being used as a shortcut in someone else's journey, and that simple word changed everything across the galaxy. Stories began to spread. Or news, but true stories. Stories of invisible drones that stopped ships with no sound. Stories of a human commander who didn't yell, didn't threaten, but never backed down. Stories of a blue planet that stood its ground against giants. Some called it legend, others called it a turning point. Either way, stars remembered. Earth was no longer just a planet. It was a message, a boundary, a warning, and above all, it was home, and no one was allowed to cross that line without asking again.